Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Tuesday, June 30th, 2026. What a blessing to be present with all of you for all of these days, all of these months, all of these years. Sandy and Scott, Kathleen, Susie, Jonathan, it's good to see you. Hi, Ashley. Boker Tov, everyone. Hi, Tara. Nice to see you. Hi, Michelle. Hope everyone is doing well. You're enjoying, hopefully, a little bit of summer weather. It's going to get very hot this week in certain parts of the world. I hope that you will take good care of yourself. George and Rosa, Patricia and Jack, good morning. Nechama, nice to see you. Welcome. Eileen and Barry, Ella, good morning. Hi, Karen. Hi, Amy. Deborah, good to see you. Did I miss anybody? I hope not. All right, let's see. Who else is here? Joy and Diane. Natalia, good morning. Ron, hi. Hi, Rita. Hi, Linda. Okay. Eitan, good to see you. Let's take a breath, everybody. Sing a bracha. Then we'll learn some Torah. So, good morning, everyone. I hope that all of you are safe and well. Penny, thank you for that. It is broadcast 1580. It's good to see all of you. Also want to celebrate just a personal milestone. Today is the last day of my 8th year as scholar in residence and rabbi of UJA Federation of New York. And so today begins my 9th year in this incredibly privileged role. And I wanted to thank all of my teammates, the donors and volunteers and professionals who are the family that we call UJ Federation of New York, for granting us the chance to be a community online for all of these years. I've recounted over the course of our learning how strange it is for a philanthropy, which is what we are at heart, a social services philanthropy, to allow someone with an outward-facing, meaning a public representative, to go off script. And for 6 years, plus 1,580 broadcasts, that has been something that I've been granted, and I do not take it for granted, to be trusted to be an authentic voice who respects the identity of our community and who can share it, bringing more people into the work, deepening our connection to Torah, and making sure when something urgent is happening that I point to it on behalf of UJA, hoping that this can be a source of actualized Torah. So thank you to everyone, not only those who have been here since the very beginning of our broadcast during the pandemic, but also those who are just joining today for the first time. You're part of the family, and we are so lucky to have you. Let's learn some Torah as we begin together again. Parshat Pinchas, this week's Torah portion, toward the end of the book of Numbers, has a lot in it, but one facet that is worth paying attention to right now is what it is to see a leader who is working very hard, has done everything they can, and knows that they cannot do it alone. Now, this has happened a few times over Moses' life. The first moment we saw like this was when his father-in-law Yitro observes him. This is way back in the book of Exodus. And Moses is sitting all day and all night, and the people are lined up to ask him questions, and he answers them. And Yitro, his father-in-law, says, "It's not good. Literally, lo tov hadavar hazeh. It's not good that you're doing it like this. You will wear them out, and you will wear yourself out." And so based on that, Moses creates an appellate system, what we have today, certainly in the United States, courts of appeal, where the basic questions can be asked to a court that is most available to the public. If the judgment there is impossible or contested, it then goes up a rung until eventually it gets, if it needs to the Supreme Court here in the United States. And the Supreme Court in the Torah's time is Moses himself. And the few times, including this week's Parsha, where he cannot answer the question, like when the daughters of Tzlofchad ask about inheriting their father's land while there is no son, only daughters, Moses then appeals to the ultimate supreme judge, asking God. But because of the shared system of making decisions, Moses reveals himself to be a truly qualified and humble leader. Here too, in this week's Parsha, after all of the years of leadership through the desert, 40 years, through 2 generations of people that will not be led. That is a good byline for the Jewish people sometimes, of people who will not be led. And after the rebellion that happens right after Miriam dies, and to give this its correct emotional valence, when Moses loses his sister, and suddenly the people are thirsty and complain in a bitter way against Moses, and he then provides the water that they need, but with anger. Right after that happens, this is chapter 27, verse 15, we hear these words. Vaydaber Moshe el Adonai lemor. And Moses spoke to God, saying, Yifkod Adonai Elohei haruchot lechol basar ish al ha'ida, asher yetzei lifnehem, v'asher yavo lifnehem, v'asher yotzi'em, v'asher yiviem, v'lo tieh adat Adonai katzon asher ein lahem ro'eh. Translated. Moses spoke to God, saying, Let God, the source of all breaths, of all flesh, appoint someone over the community who shall go out before them and come in before them, and who shall take them out and bring them in, so that God's community may not be like a sheep that have no shepherd. Now, it is important for us to understand what is being said and what isn't being said. Moses is not saying, I'm done, but Moses is implying it's time to make a plan. What does succession look like when the mission is so urgent that an entire community's welfare depends upon it? Well, we as UJA are undergoing that kind of transition during the coming months. Eric Goldstein, a beloved friend and mentor of mine, mentor to so many of us, who has led UJA for a very long time through impossible situations during his tenure, is stepping down. That process will be complete, though I hope he'll stick around, in October, when a dear friend of mine, another teacher, Dr. Michael Kay, will be taking over as CEO of UJ Federation of New York. And among the things I know is true about this transition, well, there are many things. Well tended by the board of UJA, done with incredible, imaginative, creative determination to make sure that the stellar leadership that we have become accustomed to continues to understand what it is, to make sure that the transition comes with institutional knowledge, to build from within all of the resources necessary for the succession to take root so that our confidence continues unabated as a community during these very urgent times here in New York, in our homeland, the state of Israel, and all around the world. Our work only deepens with this transition. But that is because of the thing I feel so clear about from this week's Parsha, from Moses' own language. He says, this is verse 16 in chapter 27, Yifkod Adonai Elohei haruchot lechol basar ish al ha'ida. And each part of that verse deserves its own attention. God, please appoint, or God will appoint. And what is God's name? Because there's another name of God that comes right now. Elohei haruchot lechol basar, the God of the spirits of all flesh. Which means Moses is recognizing something essential that every leader should know. That it's not about me and I don't have it all. God's spirit is not only the God of my spirit. God is the spirit, God is the God of all spirits, of all flesh, which means we have to have faith that there will be other leaders, not just one, because it is ultimately a shared responsibility to lead a community, especially given that what Moses experienced might not be so different sometimes from the modern Jewish community, a people who it's hard to lead. But perhaps in this moment, what we are to understand is that Moses says, I know, God, that you animate my work. Moses is clear about that. So too should Moses be clear, and should we be clear, that God's Spirit animates so many incredible models of leadership that we are blessed to have not only in the Jewish community, but definitely in the Jewish community. And what it is to see the through line from one generation of leader to the next. And that's true about rabbis, it's true about CEOs, it's true about every work that matters, including the work of building family. To see the through line, which is God's animating spirit. Again, if you don't use the word God to describe this, that's fine. But when I look at a human being, I see, this is a language I have been taught to feel and think and see, because it's an exalting of human life, to see the image of God wherever I turn, which means every one of us has the capacity, the potential to be the one that Moses asked God to find. Each one of us carries forward that spirit. And why is it so necessary? The very next verse says, because I don't want them to be alone. They need a guide sometimes. We all do. And so I want to wish us this deep blessing as we embark on a shared journey yet again. What is it to have trust that someone will be inspired by the divine Spirit to lead us well and to ask for help and to know that we are so strong together? This is the last day. Arlene, you beat me to it. This is the last day of UJ Federation's 2026 fiscal campaign. This is the last day for this annual campaign, and tomorrow will be the first day of the next. But today is a day that matters because we have, since October 7th, become even more than the incredible thing that we were, reaching further with more love than we ever have. And I want to invite us, friends. I want to invite us, no matter what you've already done this year, consider making a gift this year, which means today, to UJA's work. Because I'll tell you something, our average view, and I looked at this a couple days ago, of each of our broadcasts hovers around 2,000. So I have no idea if that number is real. It's social media. Who knows how accurate anything truly is. But if half of the people who view this video make a gift of $2, that rebuilds a house in Ukraine. That saves someone's life who survived domestic violence. That feeds a family for a period of time. That helps us do our work with more clarity, precision, and strength. And so this is our chance, friends, to say, I am inspired, the Spirit within me moves, and the way that I will be part of this evolving, organic, holy leadership that keeps on showing up to make this world safer and brighter and more loving, this is what I'm going to do today. So there might be other things that you can do today. Do those. And if possible, make a gift. I did yesterday. I invite you to do so today. And if you'd like to do so in the name of our broadcast Torah community, let it be known that Torah is a strengthening force within the Jewish world. It always has been, and it always should be. Bless you, friends, for this work. A reminder just before we sing Hatikva. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Wednesday night, I'm leaving for Israel for a few weeks. I will continue broadcasting as close to 9 o'clock as I can, and likely only on Facebook, because I will only have one device to use most of the time. And so, friends, if you are on Instagram, I invite you to join us on Facebook. And if you're not able, then please God, soon after I land, I'll know which days I'll be able to broadcast on Instagram too. So at the very least, friends on Instagram, we might miss you for a little bit, but you are welcome to move into the next room for a couple of days. And to the questions asked, Linda's asking about the link for donation, UJAFEDNY. That's UJA Fedny, FEDNY.org, and is a small gift invited? Of course it is. There's no such thing as a small gift. If that's the gift you can bring, then that is the gift that will make the entire difference. Let's send our hearts to the east. Let's sing. Kol hod balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Yerushalayim. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.